Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This guy over here is Tim, and this is The Second Legacy. And thank you so much for starting your week with us and passing freedom on to the next generation. Today, we are going to hit a few of the top items in the news line, all about gun control, all about gun rights, and passing that blessing on to the next generation. And I cannot wait to hear what you guys think in the comments field down there. And make sure that if you want to see Second Legacy grow, you like the video, you subscribe to the channel, and make sure that notification bell is on so you don't miss the new hotness coming from The Second Legacy. But before we dive into this, we've got a sponsor, Bullet Safe, and we got to say a quick word from them, and then we're going to hit this info you are going to love. Now, the vest you're seeing me wear is from Bullet Safe, and they've sponsored these videos. Bullet Safe is on a mission to be the #1 provider for safety equipment such as this for not only the civilian, but also the security market. Now, the VP3 that I'm wearing comes in at $299.97, which makes it completely affordable and provides up to or better than Kevlar protection. This thing is NIJ level 3 tested. You are talking about up to 44 Magnum stopping on this bad boy. They've made it concealable, discreet, comfortable, and breathable. It's modular and upgradable, and in comparison to previous models, it's 50% thinner and 25% lighter. As you can see, I'm wearing it in the filming of this spot, and it is not even adding to any of my dexterity whatsoever. This is something very concealable, and if you're in the market, this might be something just for you. And thank you to Bullet Safe for making this content possible. All right, so with that out of the way, thank you again so much to Bullet Safe. Tim, before we get into this, how are you doing, my man? How's Monday?
Well, it's Monday. And I posted a tweet, so if you want to know how I feel about Mondays, just swing by Twitter and check out @Mac_arms, and you'll see exactly how I feel about Mondays. I posted a meme.
And to be fair, if you guys are just now watching, if you've never seen the Mac Twitter feed, it is a place of greatness. If you guys are looking for some enjoyment, we do daily David Hogg updates. He does all sorts of good things, and just can be cranky about Mondays. But that's not what we're going to talk about today. So, you know what, Tim? Usually I give you user's choice of what we break into first, but I gotta pull rank on this one. I want to do this one, all right? All right. So we had something break this weekend from the New York Times. Now, this is going to be a little unusual to you because this is an opinion piece, and every once in a while you get random chances of journalism. And this is an interesting one. I want to get your take on it. So, Mr. Producer, this is from this article, #1. Here's what we can do now about gun violence. Now, here's the date right there, May 21st. Now, this starts out like any other gun control article, Tim. You know, the typical nothing's working, we're all stuck, our system's done, common sense gun reform, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But then it takes a hard right turn. If you could go to #2, Mr. Producer, and I quote, "Since assault weapon bans aren't coming back and AR-15 style rifles are here to stay, the most important thing we can do is modernize the background check system." So this came from the New York Times, albeit it is an opinion piece, but it still had to sneak out. I mean, like, what's going on here? Did hell freeze over? I need your initial thoughts.
Reverse psychology, perhaps.
Okay. So you think this is just to lull us into a sense of comfort?
Yeah, it's like, we won. Okay, now all you want to do is talk about background checks. No, I mean, this would be news to every gun grabber in D.C.
Oh, man.
They're not giving up on banning anything.
Oh, no.
They're going to continue that push till the end of days.
Oh, the end of days. Wow, we're going biblical. Okay, so I agree with you 100% on they're not taking away AR, or they push for AR bans. They're not. Now, I also think that there's a little tiny bit of truth here that assault weapon bans aren't coming back. They are a relic of the 90s, and the AR-15 style rifles are here to stay, not because the New York Times says it, but because pending court decisions, or actually existing court decisions, a lot of different things that are shaping up to actually make that a reality. Another opportunity or another option, do you think this is maybe laying the groundwork to kind of brace for impact? Or do you think literally this is just a random flyer?
I think this is another brain dead gun grabber just posting tripe on the internet. It's just, sure, I mean, okay, so assault weapons bans are gone. Let's start talking about background checks again. Well, we already have NICS. Right. We already have fix NICS. What do they want? Fix NICS fix? I mean,
it's interesting you say that. That's where they go.
Well, I know. And what are they going to do? So they'll cite various, shootings and stuff like that have taken place. But how many times has one of these, shooters passed a background check?
Oh,
because
a lot.
If you don't have a criminal history, you're going to pass a background check. So if it's your first time out being a criminal, you're not going to pop on anybody's radar through background checks. Now, maybe they're going to go into pre-crime and they're going to start, looking for people to display certain traits in social media or things like that. Mm-hmm. If you have a Gadsden flag, then you're higher risk and therefore you should be, tracked.
Like a point system?
Yeah, the social credit score. Most of these people get their marching orders from communist China, so it wouldn't be surprising to me to see something like that. I mean, this is probably where they're going to go. They're going to want to track gun owners more diligently, more so than they currently do. They're probably going to try to roll back laws that prohibit the government from tracking gun purchases and gun owners. Although we know that the government, ATF's been doing that forever, and FBI against federal law. They do what they want.
That is not a database, sir. That just happens to be a collection of information that is not searchable.
Yeah, we haven't connected anything. It's a modern database. We haven't really connected anything. It's not searchable. We just have it all there just in case we need it.
It's only like 900 million records. But it's not searchable, so it's not a database. It's just a big collection of data. So we can rest assured on that. But it's interesting you said that, and I didn't pull a lot of the different pieces of this article in, mainly because it's a very long article. If you guys are watching this, check this article out. Everything will be linked in the description box. But I didn't tell Tim the rest of this article, and it's interesting that you went there, Tim, because that's exactly where they went. They went with
How can
AR
I predict
bands.
them? It's almost like they're predictable.
It's almost like they do the same move. So they went, AR bands are going away. AR-15s are here to stay, which I did a video on just the gall that they would dare do that against the gun control vibes. But the interesting thing is they use that as an angle to go into, of all things, background checks, the NICS system, and they reference fixed NICS in this article. But the next thing they go into, this is going to kill you. They go after mental health issues, and then they start listing off tragedies, murderers, how they had mental health issues. Now, again, if you guys want to read it, it's all down there. It's a pretty long article, but I thought it was very fascinating that they went down the exact same conversations that we've been having between you and I on this channel for 4 or 5 months since we started it. I mean, it's eerie. That's the best thing I can tell you. When your like little spidey senses kind of go off, I was going like, what?
Yeah. But it's not surprising. Like I said, these folks are entirely too predictable, and what they want to do is apply pressure. They want to apply social pressure. They want to apply legal pressure. They want to apply any type of pressure they can to gun owners to make it so unpalatable that you just simply go, you know what? It's not worth exercising my rights. I'm just going to walk away from this. I'm not going to buy a gun. They're trying to stigmatize people. They're trying to do everything they can to dissuade folks from exercising their rights. And it's something they've been doing my entire life.
That's a long time.
The key phrases. Oh, come on now. The Civil War's not that long ago. But it's like where they come up with all these key phrases and terminology and stuff out of these think tanks. It's all designed to stigmatize and demonize things, people, and objects.
Yep.
And so they're not going to quit with this. It's kind of comical. I mean, like you said, I haven't read the article, but just what I have read and what you've shared here is just, I don't know. I want to laugh if it wasn't so serious.
Right, and genuinely, props to you, because you pretty much you read the article through your subconscious, because that's exactly where it went. That was impressive. But there's something else that I really loved here, because this is a little bit of a jab at the current political system. What's required, number 2 again, Mr. Producer, what's required is gritty work in the administrative trenches that won't get anyone elected. That's kind of a little bit of a stab at the political class that would say, is this all about elections? Is it all about political power? That's where I read that. How do you read that?
I read that as they don't have the popular support.
Oh, they absolutely
don't.
No, they don't.
It's like, you won't get anybody elected. Why won't it get anybody elected? Because it's not popular. So let's push it anyway. People don't want this, but we're going to push it anyway.
Tim, I heard, and the media told me, so I know it's true, I heard that 85% of people want common sense gun reforms and controls. I heard that.
I absolutely do. I absolutely want common sense gun reforms. Get rid of the NFA, get off my back, quit harassing me as a gun owner, and leave me alone. No other constitutionally protected right harasses the people that exercise it as they do with the Second Amendment community. It's
very
so
true.
Disgusting. And the fact that people will just sit by and allow it to happen is even more disgusting. We need to push back. As hard as they push, we need to push back harder.
Yeah, and I mean, that brings up a good point in kind of wrapping this one little portion of this segment. Do you think we're actually pushing back? Because in my opinion, we've increased the pressure over the last 2 to 3 years. Do you see that pressure increasing, or do you see it waning? Do you see it kind of the groundwork? Where do you think that actually sits? I'm curious.
I think folks are being pretty politically active. I know the various 2A groups out there, like Gun Owners of America and stuff like that. They've been very active in filing lawsuits and pushing the stuff, everything from bump stocks to braces to, anything that they can where there's infringements being had, that they can afford to fight that battle. They have to choose their battles. They don't have unlimited resources, but they've been doing an amazing job. And so I don't see it letting up. I see the more the government pushes, the more the hardcore anti-gunners push for their agendas, the more we're pushing back. And it's a good thing. I mean, we're winning court case after court case.
All over, yeah.
I can see the frustration in their faces and in their comments on social media. And it's awesome because they should be frustrated. That's what happens to people that try to deny others their freedoms.
Yeah, and that's an interesting point that you bring up, because the frustration, you can kind of see where people's heads are at just by the reactions to the thing they start pushing. So, for example, prior to this, about 2-3 years ago, prior to this, before Biden was inaugurated, they were really frustrated around the idea that they were trying to push legislative actions through at different state levels. They were having success, but there were still challenges and nothing was really happening. However, the second that Trump got the Supreme Court to the current makeup that it's at, everything changed. And when the Bruin decision came down, when the Dobbs decision came down, when the EPA decision came down last year, you saw this dramatic shift away from political, judicial, legislative, and you saw directly on the street level. Very young people, activist groups, lots of different things like that. See, to me, all that is organized tantrums, at least in my opinion, because they are losing where they were winning. So they're transitioning to a different part. What do you think about that? You think that's on?
They are. You can absolutely see the frustration. And, one thing that cracks me up about the Supreme Court appointments is that, immediately after Trump got his last appointment, those on the left started screaming bloody murder. We need to rebalance the court.
Right.
It has a slim conservative majority. And throughout most of my life, it's had a slim leftist majority.
Leftist majority, yeah.
Right? And so by rebalance, they mean we want to pack the court and give ourselves a majority back. That's their idea of balancing in their favor.
Exactly. Well, you got to go balance back to where I liked it. It's not balanced across the board. It's not 4-4 with a flip. It's no. Let's keep it 5-4. It'll be balanced. Yeah, balanced. Oh my
I know.
God.
This is the narrative of the far left, the anti-gunners and stuff like that. We just want common sense. We just want rebalancing. We just want this, that, and the other, and all of it translates to, just give us more power. We want to put you in a cell somewhere because you're a dangerous type, because you believe in this obscure, outdated, powdered wig thing that was made by weird dudes, during the Victorian period or whatever.
Right.
Called the Constitution. It's just this crazy, stupid old document that has no relevance in 2023. And because you believe in it, you need to go to prison. Crazy.
Well, so... And it's interesting when you look at everything that we're going through. I mean, like, traditionally, as I was growing up, it was much more Republican versus Democrat. It was kind of like they were so close in scale and spectrum that there wasn't that much of a difference. Yeah. And now it's like they've gone so far in the polar opposite directions. What you're talking about now is you've gone from Democrat to Republican from Democrat to Republican to left, progressive, big government controls everything versus constitutionalism. And it's like, wow, that got drastic real fast. But yeah, I mean, that's a different topic for a different day.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, all right, so because you are my favorite, you get to choose the next topic. Do you want to talk about the man with the AR-15 at bus stops in Maryland, or do you want to talk about 20 different red states standing up to the Mexican lawsuit to destroy the gun rights of this nation?
Let's go with the AR-15 at the bus stop.
Oh, yeah. A spicy choice. All right.
Yes.
Well, Mr. Producer, this is number 3. Man with AR-15 style rifle by bus stop says he wasn't out to terrify kids. Now, some backstory on this. You just had more gun control laws similar to New York, New Jersey, California, Oregon, Washington, just past Maryland. They just became law 2 or 3 days ago. But what's interesting is this guy is walking around his neighborhood with an AR, and he's perfectly legal. Cops have been called on him. They've said there's nothing they can do. It's perfectly fine. He's well within his rights. But there's an uproar. So you can immediately see where this goes, right? This goes to, well, can you do that? Yes, you can do that. Should you do that? There's so many pieces of open carry, not open carry, normalize it, not normalize it. When you see just a high level on that, what do you think, like from your perspective?
It's interesting. I would imagine if the kids are scared, it's probably because of the parent saying, "Oh my gosh, that's so frightening," and the kids going, "Oh yeah." But I would imagine when the kids first saw it, they're like, "Oh, check that out, that's cool." Look, the guy is doing what the government and refuses to do, and that's to protect the children. So what he's done is he's gone out to protect the children as they get off the school bus. I would imagine he's being friendly and cordial to them, talking to them, and he's not just standing there, stone-faced and acting weird. He's just trying to protect children. He's made that clear to the people. Mm-hmm. And so he doesn't pose a threat. They know he doesn't pose a threat, yet they're going to continue this, like, look at this, can you believe this? Well, would it make you feel a little better if he puts a badge on? Because cops are citizens too. So give the guy a badge and let him stand there. Whatever makes you feel comfortable, you poor little snowflake.
Oh, it gets worse though, Tim. I didn't tell you the worst part. He's wearing a Make America Great Again hat.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
He's a threat to society.
He is. He is.
How can you have that? You can't have a great America. Come on. This is a horrible nation.
Yes, so that was the sticking point. But what's interesting about this, and this is why I wanted to bring this up, because this is a debate even in the gun world a little bit. Like, of course, the left, the gun control aspects, like the ultimate control, they don't want anything like this. They don't want open carry. They don't want to see a gun. They don't want to know it exists because it offends their sensibilities. But on the other side of the aisle, on the gun right side of the aisle, we've had these conversations multiple times within our own ranks of, should we do this? Should we not do this? What are your thoughts? What are our not thoughts? Is this positive, negative? Does it draw attention to yourself? You know what I'm talking about. There's so many different ways that you can interpret this. See, I'll flat out say, in my own personal opinion, I understand what this guy is doing completely. He's trying to normalize the idea that these rights are everyone's rights, and these are here to protect, because a gun in the hands of someone who is good because it's an inanimate object, just like the gun in the hands of someone bad is bad. I understand what he's trying to say, but in the current political environment, in the current news cycle, is going near a bus stop, I don't know. You know what I mean? It's like I see what you're trying to do.
Ruffle feathers.
I can see where it ruffles feathers.
What he's trying to do is ruffle feathers, but also send a message to people that, first of all, don't mess with our children, and secondly, we're here to help. American citizens being armed isn't a danger to society. We are the first responder. If something goes wrong at that bus stop or at a school or something like that, the police are minutes away if you're lucky.
At
right?
best, yeah.
So somebody at that site has to take responsibility to protect our youth. And that's what he's doing, right? It's no different than any other citizens group that, they have various, it goes clear back to what the Guardian Angels, maybe even before that probably, where you have, citizen groups patrolling the streets and doing things that the government refuses to do, either for political reasons or because they're underfunded or whatever. And so it goes back to the whole purpose of the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment was to empower the people to be that militia, to be the security of the country. And it means secure us from enemies, both foreign and domestic. And domestic enemies would be people out to do ill will and harm to our children. So him being there isn't a threat. And the guy's made it clear he's not a threat. And now all the pearl clutching and hand wringing is just for political gain. That's all it is.
Right. So here's where it gets interesting, because there's two sides of this coin on the reactions. So first is exactly what you'd think it would be. The first reaction was, they canceled school bus stops for a week. They made sure the kids had to go get picked up. Like they shut down everything because of potential threat and discomfort, which is what you'd expect. I would expect that from a leftist organization like the school boards and all those things who do not want this type of thing. But the interesting part is, and this is where it gets really encouraging and fascinating, the next day, someone else in his neighborhood joined him, walked with him, but this time with a 12-gauge shotgun.
So he's okay though.
But that's the interesting part, because he goes with a 12-gauge shotgun, but the other guy's going with an AR-15. Is one more dangerous? That's exactly where I was going. Is one scarier, one more dangerous? Because now there's two people who are displaying the fact that they can protect anyone they need to protect with multiple different platforms. Is it now not scary anymore, or is it still scary? Is it scarier?
It's simple. There's a simple formula to determine how scary an inanimate object is.
Wait, you've broken it down to a formula?
Does it have a pistol grip, bayonet lug, a barrel shroud, a magazine? So if the shotgun has any of those features, clearly he's demented and needs to be arrested. Now, if it has a wood stock and none of the other items I just mentioned, then he should be okay. I don't know. I can't really understand how they think.
There was no pistol grip, and it was definitely a traditional tube. Looked like a Mossberg. It looked very, very blasé.
Did it have wood stocks or was it polymer?
No,
that can be scary.
Polymer. That did give us a point, though. It did give us a point in the negative.
Yeah.
It did.
Black plastic is scary. It is scary. Yeah.
Okay, this is the point. When we go off the rails, we had too much fun. Tim, this was great. We've had some great topics. Take us out, my man.
Awesome. Yeah. Folks, if you would like to become part of our call-in show, there will be a link in the video description below. Fill out that little form. It's a Google Doc. We'll give you a call, get you set up, and get you on the show. We'd love to have a conversation with you. You can ask questions, or you can just make a statement. We'll just have a conversation about whatever it is you want to talk about. Thank you for watching, and we'll talk to you guys soon.